Welcome back to the Lawn Care Grandpa channel. We're both grandpas, and he's a great grandpa. I'm a grandpa, and we're trying to help people with experience and with know-how to fix their lawns, or even professional landscapers with other ideas on what you can do. So today we're going to be talking about moss in your lawn. Now, not everybody's going to have this problem, but the people that do, sometimes they want to know what to do about it because they'd rather have it all green and everything. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And Jerry McMillan's here, and he's been in the lawn care business 40 years. I'll say that every time because it's important. And he's going to share with you some of the ways that he's done it with his landscape crews over the many decades. What causes moss to grow in a lawn?
Well, it's usually a shady area because shade will kill off grass. It's hard to get grass to grow in a shady area. So when you got an area that will not grow grass, something else will come along, and it's usually moss. Moss loves damp, shady areas, so you're going to have moss come on.
So are there sprays you can get to put on an area, whether they're commercial or residential type?
Actually, I'm not real sure about that, but I'm sure some of these nurseries that are coming along with different types of things throughout the years. That's about all I can tell you about that. Just ask somebody from a nursery. They'll usually give you a good idea of what to do with moss if you don't want to do it the way I was talking. It could be expensive trimming trees.
Yeah, and then sometimes people talk about granular stuff, powders, but all that's the same. You'd have to ask in a nursery.
Yeah. Actually, if you're looking at building a real nice lawn, you're going to have to get some sun in. So the first thing is trees are going to have to be limited to a point where they won't be totally shady, or you're going to have to maybe grow something else there. The grass won't grow in total shade. So getting rid of the moss is because you've got a shady area and moss is really thriving. So it's thriving because of the shade. Shade's got to go. You got to take out a tree or maybe a trim going up. That's expensive. But just killing it off with a spray or killing it off with a lime really won't help you because it's going to be real tough to get grass seed to grow in shady areas.
What can you tell us about iron? Using iron to kill off moss.
I actually don't know a whole lot about iron. Some people really swear by it, but it does accumulate in the soil if you do it too often. You'll have something there that you'd like to get rid of later on because it will lower the pH, and you've got to have it around 6 to 8 to grow grass seed. So the iron will continually bring it down, 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 and if it brings it too low, you won't be able to grow any grass seed. You'll have to reverse that. So I've never tried to use iron much.
So let's say you've got an area that's got moss in it. Would you try to do something that treats the whole lawn, or would you just center on those areas?
Well, I imagine you would have to get the shady areas taken care of. The area that is growing moss, you'll have to put down the lime to get rid of that. Do those things first to get rid of your moss problem. Then later on, after that's gone, then you can go through the activities of growing grass seed, the fertilizing, the aeration in the lawn all over. Depending on how the moss is dying off. You're going to try to get rid of that first, and then you can go with the grass growth.
Can someone just go in and dig out the moss? Just dig it up?
You could. We've had a lot of areas where we use what we call a square point shovel. It's just got a shovel with about a 10-inch end, though it's a square end. And we took up sod lots of times with that, and that would work also with moss. If you just had a small area, something maybe equivalent to 10 by 10 or something, that'd be a good way of taking it up. Putting you down some grass sod, and then it'd be over with. It wouldn't take you to maybe one day.
Do they have machines that'll do that for you?
Oh, they do. They have sod removers. These sod machines that operate, they look kind of like a garden tiller, but it's got a little shovel on the bottom of it that kind of goes through the soil, takes it up about an inch deep, and you could use that on the moss too. Yeah, we have had several types of lawns throughout the years, and you have an area where lots of big trees and the sun don't get in. Chances are there's going to be a lot of moss. It'll grow in those shady areas. Well, about the only thing you can look at, if you want to take a tree out and get rid of it, or trim some of the branches off of some that you want to keep, you can allow more sun to come in and you'll have a better chance of growing grass. But actually putting lime on the moss will kill it off, but if you keep that shady area, it's going to be hard to grow grass seed. So you're going to have to allow some sun to come in. You're going to have to get rid of the moss, and I use lime. Many people use various types that they're familiar with. I imagine you could go to a nursery. They could give you some good ideas, but with me it's almost always been lime. So I use lime to kill the moss off. I'll use my grass growing with fertilizing, aerating, and give it a reasonable amount of water to get the grass growing. But you got to have sun. You got to do something to give you some sun. Take a tree out, or have one trimmed up where the branches are not so thick, and you let the sun come in.
All right, well, that's a video for you guys about how to get up moss, how to deal with it. Some people, they have very large yards, and they don't mind it being under trees in a very shaded area way away from the house. But especially if you're getting it around areas where people are going to see it and you don't like it, we hope these tips have helped you so you can deal with your moss problem.
Right. A lot of people like their lawns in various forms. They can see certain areas where they might have a shady area. They'll try to have a big shady flower bed with different kinds of plants that grow good in the shade. So moss isn't always something you have to get rid of.
Well, if you like this video, click like and subscribe and help us out, and come back and see us again. We'll give you some more videos about different aspects of lawn care.